Hi, it's Juliet, and this week I wanted to talk about painting on Pokemon cards. The concept is taking a common Pokemon cards that doesn't have a full art and extending the full art. So those three that I'm showing right now are ones that I made last year, and you can see that they're quite rough looking and the details are, well, not precise at all. That's because I had really bad paints that I needed to layer 5 or 7 times. It's already very hard to be precise once, but 5 times in a row, that's harder. And I didn't have thin paintbrushes, so those three cards are not the best, but I was quite happy about doing it. And ultimately, I wanted to fill a whole binder of it. And for that, I needed to do more. So 2 months ago, I was like, okay, I'm going to paint on Pokemon cards. And I started on the Natu card. All of the cards are in French, but whatever, because I'm going to cover the writing anyway. At that point, I was painting on two cards at once to avoid drying time and kind of have two versions and choose the favorite one each time. So I did that for the three previous cards that I show, and I started doing that for Natu. Later, I realized that just takes twice more time, and it's kind of pointless because, well, ultimately I'm keeping one each time, and they're very similar design, as you can see. But for now, I was painting cacti, and I looked on the internet to be able to see, well, how to paint a cacti, because I had never done that. It's not that complicated, you just have to use very basic shapes. So I decided that Natu is kind of standing on very high cacti. I mean mid-high cacti, we will say. So he's in the sky, you can see the sky behind him. On the floor there's sand, that's where the cacti are growing. You can see at that point that I stopped caring about the other card and I was focusing on only one because that was already taking me time. I did kind of an outline for each, I mean half of an outline, and honestly the outline is not really pretty because it's kind of bulky even though I was using thin paintbrushes. So I'm not a huge fan. After that I added all the flowers, once again copying the design that is around Natu but adding to it. I mean I added some colors and stuff like that. I think the flowers really helped because it added colors and it looks more finished, but honestly it's not it's not the best card. I do like that I made it, and I spent about 2 weeks painting it because I was doing it very on and off after work, and I don't know, it took me 4 or 5 hours. It was quite of a long process to make this one. Then I wanted to tackle Carablast. At that point I decided to start 4 cards at the same time because I thought it would be faster painting all of them at the same time. That's crazy. Painting one card at a time is way easier, but I hadn't realized that at that point. I also did Outworm, I think that's how you say it in English. This one is one of my favorite Pokemon. I mean, I have a lot of favorite, but he's one of my favorite. And at the same time, I wanted to do Aron and I wanted to do Monferno, just because I had those cards and I decided to paint on them. So after doing a white background on all of them, I started with Carablast. Honestly, it went really well. I don't know how, but I painted this tree and it just looked really good in my opinion. On the original card there was a black area on the right, there is a hole kind of in the tree, so I decided to keep it. I do like it, I think it adds character to the tree and it looks more realistic. I don't want to say realistic, it's not, but it looks good in my opinion. Even though the hole looks weird, it looks good. Then I did the background of Outworm, and then I had some leftover paint, so I started to do the lines that they were behind Monferno. It was the background of that card. I extended the fire a bit, and then I kind of stopped because I sewed for the next 4 weeks, so I didn't have time to do that on top of sewing. But this weekend I had nothing to do and I knew I wanted to paint Pokemon cards because I was scared to spend my whole weekend in front of a screen. So I woke up on Saturday very motivated and I started painting the background white of other Pokemon card that one day I want to paint. Just because it's easy. It's an easy into painting. You don't have to think and you already have the paintbrush in your hand, so it's easier to tackle the rest after. And for the rest, I started by tracing Heartworm in kind of a circular shape by moving the tracing paper each segment to be able to make a new Heartworm because I wanted to add a Pokemon on that card. But this one would be jumping out of the sand. I was quite nervous about this one because I had never drawn a Pokemon in general. But I do think that all the cards that I see on social media of painted Pokemons, they look so much better when there is something added to the extension of the background. There's so much more interest and it's more interesting and prettier. So I wanted to try my hand at adding something, and I decided to do a second Heartworm. The outline was very thick and it looked cartoony because of that. So I then spent a lot of time thinning it. In total, given the previous session of painting that I did 4 weeks ago and this one, I think this card took me about 4 hours. I really like the sky. I like how I extended the whole thing. I think it looks almost seamless, I want to say. And I really like the second Heartworm. Motivated by that, I tackled Monferno. I needed to add the black background, but I thought it was going to be hard to curve around all those fiery background lines, so I just painted the whole thing black. And I really liked it. I thought it was super pretty, so I even painted black around Monferno. I finished the fire on his tail. I kind of added the second fiery attack on his hand that wasn't here before. And I was really happy about it. So I decided that Monferno was done at that point, but I'm gonna come back to it later. So then it was Karrablast's turn. I needed to do the background behind this wonderful tree that I still like. And the goal of the background was just don't mess it up, don't make it look weird, because at that point this was my favorite card. So I did it, and honestly it was quite a success. I think I extended the background correctly in the sense that it's not distracting from the tree and it's quite seamless with what was there before. So I was very happy about that Karrablast card. In total, I think this one took me 3.5 hours, something like that. The last card of the 4 was Aron, which I thought it was gonna be quite complicated because there's an intricate design behind him, but I was confident from all of those previous successes, so I was like, yeah, I can tackle that, it's fine. This is an in-progress shot, so nothing is finished. We're missing the leaf on the top, we're missing, well, correct rocks, and the second Aron. Because I like so much the second Heartworm that I decided to add a second Aron to add interest to that card. Which is what I did. First of all, I liked the top of the card. I think it was going really well on the top. And the second Aron was kind of looking weird because Aron has white shoulders, grey body. It was looking off. So I gave him a leaf so he would look correct. So I kind of hide all of that, and I think it was a good call. It looks way better with the leaf. And this was the finished design of this Aron card, which I like. I think it's quite good. The only thing I don't really like is the log, but it was looking like that on the original card. I just extended the motif, so in a sense I didn't choose it. At that point, I thought I was done with my whole project. I had painted Natu and those 4 new cards. I took a nap, and then I woke up and I couldn't sleep anymore because obviously, why would you take a nap in the evening? So then I had an insomnia. And from that insomnia, I was adamant I shouldn't be in front of a screen. So I was bored and I was confident from the fact that I had painted all those cards and nothing exploded. It was not turning out awful. It was kind of an enjoyable process when you think about it. So I decided to tackle one more card, which was this Fuecoco Under the Rain. I already really liked the drawing, I really liked the colors, and I don't know what happened. I don't know how I did that, but it turned out so well in my opinion. I was so surprised because I didn't really spend that much time on it. I spent 2 hours total. I think it helps that I was reusing the colors that I was already really liking on the original cards. And I mean, the Fuecoco is so cute. The color are definitely doing a lot of the heavy lifting on that one. I like that there's heavy rain on top of the light green leaf. I like that the background is rainy. And my favorite thing is the foreground with the bit of the leaves, the colors, the reflection. So I was definitely very happy. Which motivated me to do another one. Also, I couldn't sleep still. So I tackled Sea King. The illustration had a lot of flowers that were underwater, so I focused on that. I extended the grass, and I think the color of the grass is definitely my favorite part. It's very bright and, well, pretty, and I also really like the color of the water. I added a ton of little flowers. The flowers from up close don't look the sharpest ever, but honestly, I was fine with it. It looks good from afar, in my opinion, but not so much from up close, which is fine. I still like the card, it's colorful. Then I did went to sleep. The next day I was super busy for the whole day. In the evening I had a bit of time, so I decided I would paint Meditite. And I was super happy about the idea of just not knowing what to do and start to paint. That's exactly the feeling I wanted to achieve. First of all, I like the result of the card. I think I went really heavy on the rain. It's kind of like cartoony in your face. But honestly, I like it. I think it looks good. I like the aesthetic of rain. And I'm mostly happy about the fact that I did it out of pure envy. Because for all of the other cards, I kind of had to push myself a bit and be conscious about my choices. But for this one, I was just like, hey, let's paint. And then I painted, and that was so cool. I was really happy. I was feeling super motivated. It was quite late in the evening at that point, but I decided to tackle Monferno because I thought that the black made it look like I didn't try, not to other people, but just to me. And I wanted to make sure it was a choice and not laziness. So I added Togepi to that card because, first of all, I really like Togepi. And I made the Togepi roll a fire attack, kind of a little one because he's kind of weak. And he's jumping way lower than the Monferno. He doesn't have a pose that is as dynamic. All of that was voluntary. And honestly, I don't think it looks that good. Not the Togepi. I think the Togepi looks fine. Just the card in general. I think I know why Pokemon keeps adding background to everything. It's because it looks better with the background. But I'm happy I tested the idea. I'm happy I pushed through by adding the Togepi. It's now a very unique card, which I appreciate. So I'm not going to change it, but it's not my favorite. Overall, I did 8 new cards, which is super cool because up until then I had 3. So now I have 13. It's still very far from the 400 I would need to fill the whole binder, but I'm getting closer. And honestly, it was such a big progress. All of the cards kind of look super cool in my opinion. Some of them from afar could almost look like a real full art. I'm mostly happy that I didn't spend my whole weekend in front of a screen. I did use a bit of it, but not too much. I mean, a bit. I think I spent 28 hours last week on screens, which is still a lot. I am still working on that. But at least that was some time that I was not in my bed and I was trying something new. I would say for a third of it, I was not in front of a screen. For the rest, I had a background screen, but I was still doing something. So I'm really happy about that activity. Those 5 ones are definitely my favorite ones. I think they turned out the best. And my favorite one is Fuecoco. He's the best. And those 3 ones I don't really like. Monferno, the background, Natu, the details. Honestly, Aron is mid-tier. It's not that bad. I think overall when you add everything up, I took 25 hours of pure painting to do those. So that's quite a success. Next week I'm probably gonna sew again. Bye!